are back, Tony and myself, with In the Minute podcast, and this is being brought to you by Geico. Bundling makes it easy with more ways to save with over 85 years of saving and service, Tony. And we're back again. The season has started for the Washington Commanders. I know that I have to bring you up to speed about what's going on. I was out there this week hearing from the players. Everybody is excited about the win, but they know that that's one win, Tony, and they've got 16 more games.
What makes you so special? You can tell me what's going on out there. You haven't figured it out in 20 years. You've been, what did you say, bundling for 20 years, but it's been wrong. But you know what? You're right.
No, Geico is bundling for 85 years. I just been like 30-some years right.
Right. You've been bundling for 35 years. You haven't been right. But one thing you are right about, I'm a little bit surprised with this team right now. I'm liking what I see. I'm not seeing everything I like to see, but one thing you do have. You have a quarterback, he may have had 2 interceptions, but he had 4 TDs. You have a defensive line that they may not have made the big plays all the time, but they made the big plays when they needed it. The one thing I'm just concerned with, and I guess that they can help us with, is the running game. Because I feel like this whole team is going to be dependent on how that running game can control the time.
Well, you got to like how Antonio Gibson ended up running the ball. I know that they only had, I think, 85 yards. Hey, that almost goes with the Geico situation. But I think 85 yards. But being out at practice this week, Brian Robinson, he was back on the bicycle, which is good news. And when they get this big back, Tony, this running game, I think you're going to see it explode more. But I think Antonio Gibson, they used him well out of the backfield and everything. But Brian Robinson, like I said, I was so happy to see him back out there. And I think he'll be back on this team sooner than later.
You know what, Donna? And I'm glad to see him back out there for the one reason that he is back out there, not to play, but he's still here. There's so much anger in the world right now. So much people get angry if you pull in front of them. You're trying to rob someone in the car. I'm just glad this young man is there. And maybe people should look at, hey, you don't always have to be in the right place at the wrong time, because the wrong time can be in the right place for you. And you don't want to watch yourself out there. But to have him back, I think it will be good. I think it'll be able to control the clock a little better. But you know what? Why don't we ask the expert? You bring in our guest, and you said this guy, not only he's a running back, you say he cook and he works out.
Not only cook, bake.
My ears, I can't hear. Who is this guy?
Hey, Ricky, did you get those biscuits yet from Tony?
I did not. Listen, he don't even know how to make biscuits. I'm tired of dealing with that. Don't even worry about that, man.
Well, see, the reason I know you're not a cook, in the kitchen, we say he don't know how to bake biscuits, not make them. Talk to me.
Listen.
Hey, all I want to let the people know, the fans know, that I'm with the former snitch, and now I'm with the current snitch for the NFL.
She called them snitches, bro.
Can you believe that, man?
That's what we are.
30
we are
years.
The police.
She done busted her. But
FBI. How about calling us FBI?
Okay, y'all are the FBI snitches.
Yeah.
But what for you fans who do not know, myself and the fellow snitch here. We were uniform. He's still a uniform inspector for the NFL. I was one for 28 years. And what we have to do is regulate how they do the uniform. And I'm going to tell you what, you're probably saying, oh, that's hard. I find about 15 years ago, one guy, 20 grand in one day.
Yeah.
And that's how important this is, because the logos and everything they need to be wearing, they don't always wear. So tell me a little bit about how it's changed since I got out.
Yeah, it's ancient since you've been out, huh? You've been doing it such a long time. You were doing it so long, you were finding me. And let me tell you a quick story. When he was finding me, I didn't know that he was finding me, because back then we didn't do no presentations. I don't remember no presentations. Might come and say, hey, your sock needs to be like this. None of that. So
we
all I
did it
hear,
in sign language.
Listen, I hear one game, I would hear the guy say, 32, pull your socks up. This is pregame. Whatever. I go out and do my thing. I ain't do all that. Game start, 32, too much white in your socks. he talking about? Get out of here. I go get my check next day. It's $1,500 light. I'm like, what's this 15 infraction uniform? What the? That happened 3 times. I think on the 4th time, he said 32. You know, you get fined for your socks. I said, oh, that's you finding me. Let me know where I need to be so I don't get this money out.
He showed it right on the field. I said, hey, man, you got to do something about that. He was all sharp and everything, clean and make his runs and stuff.
Look good.
I said, I'm telling you, man, you're going to have to do something about that. Well,
he was hard-headed because it took him 3 times to get that money.
I didn't know, though. I'm serious. I was like, where is this coming from? My uniform, I got everything. I'm looking good. You look good. You play good. What are you talking about?
I don't know about that. I've seen a lot of good ones that haven't gotten to the Super Bowl, so they look good.
Hey, Tony, they said that even if you can't play, look good in the part.
Well, let me ask you.
The bottom line is, I straightened it up, and I didn't get no more fines.
Okay.
These cats now, and even though that fine is a lot stiffer, they don't give a darn. They don't care. It's like, I'm like, man, okay, at least take that money to MGM and try to lose it. Don't just give it to the NFL free and clear.
And is it still the way? And I used to tell Donna this, and I used to tell Doc when I would do it. It seems as though the teams that follow the rules more closely are the teams that end up in the Super Bowl. The undisciplined teams are the same way playing. Is it still that way?
Because it's individuals. They're trying to be individuals instead of being that collector conglomerate where you got everybody fighting as one. You want guys doing this and that, and you can't. And you know what? The NFL has capitulated to some degree to where now you could wear your shirt hanging out, your undergarment. You could never have that hanging out. Now you can have it hanging out, but it can't cover up the Nike sign or the logo sign that's on the pants. So you got about this much that you can play with. Guys are still going down here. I'm like, are y'all serious? Or this is what they would do. It's funny too. Chase is guilty of this. They would cut the front, look like a tuxedo, and have the tail hanging out. I'm like, no, that does not work. You got your butt covered up, but you got the Nike and the logo sign showing. Sorry, son, it's not working.
Always trying to get over.
It's funny. It's hilarious, man.
Don't you guys wonder, though, if they work that hard to get the game plan together, they win more games? But speaking of that, Donna was telling me some things that she's been seeing out there. What have you seen with this new offense? Where do you think it needs improvement, and where is it right where it needs to be?
I'm glad you asked me that because I'm always talking about my first person I'm going to discuss is the quarterback. I'm not sold on him because of his past history. You know, you got to show me this movie many times. And I already know that his package comes with him throwing interceptions. He's going to do that. So when he threw those 2 back-to-back, I ain't tripped. You know, for one, it's the skins. And 2, that's my man Carson. Then we got behind. I said, okay, yeah, this is what we usually do. But when he came back and threw that bomb, he's not shaken by his 2 interceptions. I said, oh, okay. He kind of, my interest got piqued. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, now you got me thinking about you a little bit because I want to see how y'all finish the game. They didn't kick no field goals. You know, every time they drive, they start off. When they start off their drive this series, they would drive all the way down and get to that darn 20 end zone, and can't even score. Kick a field goal. So I told Raven Cowell, I said, oh, this is great and fun, but watch, we'll kick a field goal. Don't worry about it. They scored a touchdown. The next time they scored a touchdown, I'm like, okay, this is a little different. But Tony, I said, when they come out at halftime, let me see how they start. They went 3 and out. I said, it's a typical old Redskins.
There you go.
Got it back together, though. Somehow, they Coach Ron Rudolph pulled those guys in and said, hey, man, no. This ain't no last year team. It's a brand new team. Let's focus.
Wait, well, hold your point right there. Brand new team. What's their name, Donna?
Commanders. He's still on that. He said the other word.
Well, you know how I feel about that, and I want us to say it on the podcast too. Number one, right in front of everybody, I want you guys I'm asking Ricky Ervins to come back and be part of our podcast whenever he can. He's going to be on our show this year, showing people how to work out. But one thing, your insight, you hit some points that are so important right now. And if they do the right thing, they have an opportunity to be a pretty good team. Like you said, okay, he threw 2 interceptions, but then he come back and throw 2 touchdowns. That's what you need to have. But one thing that doesn't look like was really taken care of in the offseason to me, and that word he used, capitulated. Hey, break it down for me, homeboy. But one thing that I don't think was really attended to or paid attention to the way it should have been was the special teams.
They played well, Tony. They actually did. They weren't on the field a lot. I mean, because
they didn't get a chance. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But you got to do something special every game. That's why they named you special teams. They didn't name you once in a while.
Did they even punt? I don't even remember the other team, Jacksonville, punting the ball.
Not until the second half.
Yeah, but like I said,
considering how they played in preseason and what I saw out at training camp, they did step up a little bit. Mims is the returner. So I think that they did show some signs of life. But I think all 3 phases, Tony, played well. And back to Carson Wentz, you got to like the fact that he didn't get rattled. You got to like the fact that this team did not get rattled when they were down, when the Jaguars scored 19 points and Carson Wentz came back through the touchdown to Terry and then to Jalen Dotson at the end, and that was huge right there from the young receiver. But we're talking about the Jaguar. What about the Detroit Lions? The Detroit Lions put up 35 points on Philadelphia. So this is not, talking to the players this week in the locker room, they know it's not going to be an easy game going up to Detroit because they haven't won 2 back-to-back games since 2011. This is the last time that they won back-to-back. They started off 2-0.
2011, I was only 25 then.
Hey, but I'm gonna tell you what, the one thing I haven't confidence in these guys is that when they go on the road, they play much better than they do at home. They defend going away better than home. And that's past team. So this team could probably be the same way. But I think that's going to be a battle because Detroit going to be excited.
If you digress and go back to it last year, even though when they were losing, I think they only maybe won 1 game, but they were always in all the games, that Detroit team. They're a tough-minded team. And what you have to look at, Philadelphia, everybody's saying they're the team, but remember towards the end of last year, they started having problems on defense. It seemed like it's manifested itself this year. So they're going to be tough. And as I go into these games, I'm trying to be more fair about it. I see the shortcomings.
You being fair, Tony. You.
I'm being real fair about it. And I'm going to look at it, but I'm going to call what I see. That's just like, ladies and gentlemen, we want you to do one thing. You watch our podcast because in about 4 weeks, we're going to have a cook-off. And we're going to bring some gifts right on here. And by then, we hope that the Washington team will be 4-0. But I know these 2 guys will be 0-4.
No, you're not going to show up.
hey, Ricky had to take off his glasses for you right there because he already know. What you cooking up, Tony, in 4 weeks?
I'll probably do some. I may fry a turkey, do some yeast rolls. Have you ever? You've never had my blackened ham, have you?
Ooh, so he just making up stuff.
Oh, hey, he all talk. Just all talk.
Don't believe the hype. Do not.
Because we ain't taking
I got proof.
Hey, I just want to say that I went down to Ricky's home and he had a sweet potato pie. Ricky brought sweet potato pie to the game.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to bring a few more.
Tony did share his mom's great peach cobbler. I mean, she's I mean, this was like when we were live on the show. We was
Ricky, we didn't let the second string kickers come in then. You weren't you
weren't invited to this.
You were on the 53-man roster at that time.
All I know is I've been promised some biscuits for about, I don't know, since 2014.
Well, the fans gonna see you with them. I may even cook them right on the.
I'm gonna word was made.
You know good if he cook them now because you still ain't gonna get them. Hey, but back to the Detroit game. Jared Goff is the quarterback. What's your thoughts on him? Because hey, he put 35 points up, but they also have a great wide receiver in Swift who had 144 yards against Philadelphia. But talk to me a little bit about Jared Goff. Now, he's been around for a while, and he won't, he's going to be a better quarterback than what they faced the first week.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? He's like somebody's on the show cooking. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Not me.
And Ricky, you talking about
no, he talking about himself.
You know what?
You talking about yourself like
around,
that.
but I tell you what, if you look at golf, he's been given a lot of opportunities. He has shown sometimes that he does have the ability, but I don't know if he'll ever be what you say a franchise quarterback, but he's a quarterback you should always be interested in watching during the course of the game because he could turn it around. I think that I go into this game looking at it, as I was saying, Detroit last year, towards the end of the year, they would be close in all the games, but they found a way to lose. They're going to be tough, but this is what has to happen to this Washington team now. You got to play whomever you play the same way each and every week, no matter what you think they are, because number one, you're not in the playoffs yourself right now.
Hey, Ricky, Tony is a defensive person. I mean, he's defensive minded. Tony is. I'm going to the offensive mind, Ricky. I can't listen to Tony because he's all defense. I mean,
that's all he want to talk about.
Listen, offense.
We win championships.
Golf is in the same position as Carson. They are pretty much the same. They journeymen. Okay, almost the same resume. They get hurt. They try to make plays. I think Carson is probably actually a little bit better because he can make plays with his legs much better than Golf can. Mm-hmm. So I think it's gonna be a battle. They playing at home, so they got the advantage because that crowd is, when they get loud, it's hard to hear things up there. Yes. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how we respond, either doing silent plays where you could just go right off the bat and go without making mistakes. And I think not making mistakes is going to be the key.
Let me ask you guys a question. Am I noticing that we got a lot of new quarterbacks in the league now, and they are taking over. The goats are turning into the mutton, which is the old sheep, and the roosters are turning into chickens. All the young people taking over. But as you look at this, among those young people, you got about 12 quarterbacks, maybe 14, but only 7 of them are really good. The rest of them always have potential. But you look at like Golf and a few other ones, that potential, we still waiting for it. So, I look at this as being a year that we have a quarterback need to prove himself, but we also have a team and a staff and an organization that need to reprove themselves.
Yeah. Well, Tony, talk about quarterbacks. Russell Wilson is up in Denver now, and they lost that first game against his old team, Seattle, and Geno Smith was under the center for Seattle and played quite well. What's your thoughts on Russell Wilson being up there? And you talked about quarterbacks in all. I know you said Lamar Jackson to you. You thought that he was one of the best, but I think that Patrick Mahomes set the tone, and I guess we can't forget Brady.
Hello, Russell. I know she's talking about you. I know, but let her finish. She makes mistakes all the time, so let her finish.
Hey, did they win? Donna. Did they win?
It wasn't his fault.
I'm just saying that they're going to need more than Russell.
He put him in the position.
You're right.
You got to realize that was his first game there. Everybody wanted him to win, but you also have to realize Seattle knows every weakness that he has. So they build their game plan, and they still almost pull the game out. So I still got my money on them being a good team, and they're going special. And I tell you guys, from being a player, one reason that's always going to come up, they will always be the better team if they're leading in the fourth quarter. Because the air is so thin up there, you play that game waiting for that fourth quarter so you can wear your opponent out.
Now, I went to the
University of Wyoming, and that's what we always knew. Mm-hmm. You guys wait till the fourth quarter. We'll take care of it.
They should never lose at home. They should never lose at home.
Exactly. So what do I think about Buffalo? We talked about Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes. We know that. Brady. What about Josh up in Buffalo? I mean, what the Buffalo looks like the team to be?
Ooh. Well, I think Buffalo is the team to be. What you think, Rick?
Yeah, listen, he was my guy. He was my pick last year. And again, if they had that rule that's in now in play, he'd probably still be playing. He probably won a Super Bowl. That boy is a beast. Now, what everybody talking about that he needs to kind of ease up and running the ball and everything, it all depends on what the play. If the play calls for it, you need to get it done. He just needs to slide more. Quit trying to hit folks. That's my thing. Get your butt down. Otherwise, you're gonna be like Cam. You can throw the ball well, you can run, but don't try to he's trying to steal people. He's trying to run people over because he has that type of build. But all you're gonna do is gonna get that one little hit that's gonna knock you out. And if you ain't there, the team is done.
Well, isn't that why Jackson want to make sure he get all his money guaranteed? And I don't blame him one bit, because he's going to give them all he got every play. Mm-hmm. So you pay the man all he deserves each and every play.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jackson in Baltimore.
Tony, talk about the Raiders up there. Talk about the Chargers, because Herbert is the young quarterback that you're talking about, probably one of the better ones too. But the front runners, who do you all like front running right now? I know it's only one game into the season, but who's front runners? Who do you like overall quarterback and team?
Well, I tell you what, I hate to say it, but Buffalo right now look like to be the strongest team. Because the others, when we talk about weather, in December on up there, it may be 25 below every game, wind 50 miles an hour. And don't try to act like that does not make a difference. You look at these guys right now, I think some of them are taking a step forward, some taking a step back. So we can't really guarantee that right now. Wentz may turn out to be the best one because he's been in longer. You never know.
I can't see that happening.
Shot. You know what?
Hey, Ricky, what did you say? Say that again.
I cannot see that happening. I'm sorry. Listen.
Okay, I want you guys to mark this day.
I'm telling you this.
And when they're winning, when Washington has won the NFC East, I want both of you to cook my meal.
I didn't say they would not win the NFC East. I'm just saying that it needs to be a habit for me in order to jump on that bandwagon. You got to win 4 to 5 games straight. Then I'm saying, okay, these guys are serious. It's a different squad. But until then, you got to prove to me, man, that you can play.
And they got some tough people too.
Well, Tony, talk about the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings have Kevin O'Connell, who used to be here in Washington as one of the assistant coaches. He was with the Rams, and they won the Super Bowl last year, and he's the new head coach for the Minnesota Vikings. And I mean, he looks to be one of the better coaches coming up, young coaches coming up. What's your thoughts on him being in Minnesota? They won their first game. A former coach here in Washington, Kevin O'Connell.
Well, that may help them for the simple reason the quarterback was here in Washington as well. So now you got two individuals that have been in the same place. Plus, what have to happen is they as a team have to win some big games. They play well, they may win a game they need, but it looks as if anytime they go up against a Green Bay or somebody that they need to win.
Green Bay.
Hey, listen, they got laugh at Green Bay. They're not finished now. Don't think they finished because the other day. Yeah, I don't know why they got rid of all their receivers, but they're not finished.
That's why they finished. That's why they finished.
Minnesota just happened to play Green Bay where they are depleted. So they got lucky on that. If they would have had Devontae and some other receivers, that'd be a little score right there. A different.
I don't think they'll win it all season though. Green Bay will. They ain't got no receivers.
I don't know, because Green Bay. Listen, I think you have to build that rapport in the off season, because you got to. Those receivers got to get his approval. Like, man, he's throwing the ball good. He's believing in me, and so I'm doing this in practice while we having all these OTAs. So now when I get in the game, I'm comfortable with my hands because I've been there when he's throwing the ball with me. If he has not been throwing the ball to you in a way, that's a GOAT. You look at him differently than you look at any other quarterback. So now this GOAT is throwing me the ball. Oh, I gotta catch it. And then you're thinking like that as opposed to when you starting off in the off season, you're working out every single day with him, catching that ball to where your confidence is strong. Mm-hmm. So now you out there in that field, it's just like you've been practicing. It's no different. But you have not been catching this ball, and his ball probably spin differently, and you just see it like, oh my God, I gotta catch it. You're putting that pressure on yourself because you have not had the chance to play catch.
But Tony, before we end this, we've got about 5 more minutes, but we want to talk about workouts. And Ricky is the guru of workouts. And Ricky, I've come to work out with you, but someone else that's on here with us has not shown up. He tells me that he can bench press 300.
But y'all see how my shoulders rose up there?
He worked out.
What do you mean I ain't worked out?
The
What
minute
you talking
you mention
about?
weights, it just swells up, huh? It swells up.
Yeah, but you know,
get him out here.
Ricky has he's doing our fitness tip of the week this year on the show. And I mean, the first one was an ab exercise. Ricky asked me when I was down there, you want to do it? I was like, nah, I'm good. Because when he put the weights on, it would have been hard enough for me without the weights on. And for anybody, I told them, Ricky, that it's not only just the workout, but it's the nutritional part of it too.
Yeah.
I want all you fans to watch the show each and every week. We brought Ricky on, and Ricky, you did an excellent job. He's going to have fitness tips for each week. And one thing about it, as you watch him do it, you look at him do it, and you can see the young man really does it the right way. And you know,
hey, Ricky, could you just tell Tony that I work out with you when I come down there?
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah. No, she does.
I'm in shape.
She puts the work in. I treat her just like she's a client.
That's right.
And
Tony.
so
well, you know what? I treat this like a paid announcement.
And we talked about you. If Tony was to come, I might have to back this down a little bit. Yeah.
You guys don't make me do it now. I got one good one left. Don't make me waste it.
He got to be in the Pee-wee lead of workout.
Yeah. We got something for him. Listen, we got something for everybody, bro.
I told you guys, I got one good one left. Don't make me waste it. Okay.
Now,
be ready when I do come.
Hey, Tony, what date? I'm putting it on my calendar. Tony McGee will be working out with
when you coming in town.
I'm gonna get in the next few weeks. I need to do about 400 sit-ups a day.
Yeah,
500 push-ups, and I'll be ready.
Like when this show is over with, go ahead and get that in.
Hey, Ricky, instead of riding a bicycle, Tony needs a tricycle.
Oh man, I'm not up there yet. Yeah, I'm still on the scooter.
Man, yeah, we need to actually
Ricky,
get out.
We want you to be on this year many times on this another show because you really do a good job with that, and we think it is very, very important to our fans to be able to watch it. But if you were looking at me, not with the beard and the age of that, and you were starting to work me out, what would be the first thing you would tell a fan to do before they start trying to do your workout?
So let me try to look at you without that beard and everything. What do I see? No, first and foremost, I would definitely tell you, go see a physician first to make sure that you can, work out. And that depends on your age too. If you're just a young cat and you see people you want to participate in some type of high intensity training, you got to make sure that your heart can take all that stuff, that your body be able to take it. So it will be wise for you to go, seek a professional, like a doctor or someone to say, hey man, your vitals are good, you'll be fine. Because a lot of times, because you are older, you need to go out and ask a doctor, hey, I'm about to start this training program. It involves weights, it involves cardio, because mines are combined. What do you think? He'll test you up and say, you find it, you're good to go. But for young guys, I don't think they really need to do that. They can just come in and we'll judge them as they go.
And that's young ladies as well, too.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to tell you guys, fans, you'll get a bunch of this each and every week. And I tell you what, Ricky and I joke a lot, Donna and I, but the one thing about it, we're going to be the information that you need. So just like we say on the television show, we're not going to tell you goodbye. You got to stay alert, because when I bring these two back and cook on them, I want you to be there. We're going to say in the minute.
I tell you what, I bet your fans going to want to see you work out. So we need to get you working out. And they would love to see that. That's
what? And also make sure to subscribe to our podcast on Podbean, Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you listen or to your podcast. And you can search for us In the Minute. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, In the Minute. And this is being brought to you by Geico. So, in the minute, as Tony said.
Thank you.